My name is Marisa Bozarth, historian for Burlington County Parks. I'm here at the Burlington County Prison Museum. I'm going to give you a brief history of the building. The prison was built in 1811 and was in operation until 1965, making it the longest used prison in the United States. The prison was designed by famed architect Robert Mills. You may have heard of him because he also designed the Washington Monument. In 1987, the Prison Museum became a National Historic Landmark. Now, I'm going to take you guys inside, show you around a little bit. So this is our warden's office. You can see we have it set up how the warden would have worked when he was in the prison. On the desk is one of our logbooks of all the prisoners that were ever inside the prison museum. There's about 40 different books that we have listing all of the inmates that were here. Over here you can see Ellis Howard Parker. Ellis Parker was the county chief of detectives for over 40 years, solving 288 cases out of the 300 that he worked on. Most of them he worked on from inside this building. So now I'm going to take you guys down to our women's wing. The prison museum, or the prison, held men, women, and children throughout its entire history. Most of the wings look very similar to this one, but this happens to be where the women were held. And here you can see, this is one of our oldest pieces of graffiti on the wall. This was on the original layer of paint. Throughout the entire building, we have several more examples of graffiti that was drawn throughout our history by the inmates. So now I'm going to show you guys a cell of what it looked like when the prison first opened in 1811. So here you can see what a cell would have looked like. Originally, the building was built for only one person per cell, and pretty crude. Even though it was considered the most modern prison in the United States at the time, there really wasn't much in the cell. However, for 1811, to have a bucket of water and your own fireplace was considered pretty good. Now I'm going to show you a cell, how things have changed over time. So this is what it would have looked like when the prison was shutting down in 1965. Prisoners were allotted a lot more in their cells. They had bunk beds, so no longer sleeping on the floors. They were also given uniforms, personal belongings, and toiletries. So I'm going to take you guys down the main third floor hallway and show you one of our unique cells, the debtor cell. These are the largest cells in the facility. They were only used for the first 20 years because when we first opened, people could be imprisoned for debt, owing as little as 50 cents to their neighbor. Eventually that was outlawed by the 1830s, so they began being used as regular holding cells. Here's our dungeon. The dungeon is in the middle of the top floor, which is an odd place, not normally where you would find one, but it is the only cell to have two doors and no fireplace. It was made to be used as maximum security. There were 9 people who spent their last nights on earth in this cell as well, all awaiting their executions. They would have been held just like our mannequin here, chained to the floor by their ankle so they could get up and walk around, but couldn't reach the doorway. They were only allowed out for meetings with their lawyers, trial dates, and the day of their execution. This is our common hall. This room, one of the largest in the building, would have been used for meetings, religious services, anywhere they needed to put a large group of prisoners at one time. Today, it holds all of our artifacts that relate to the property and the prison. Here is one of our best. This boat was created by one of the prisoners during their time in jail in the late 1800s. It's one of the few actual artifacts that we have from prisoners during their time here. Here's our basement. The basement was used mostly as workshops. This was the main workshop where the prisoners produced woodworking products. We were one of the first in the country to have prisoners do labor where they were actually learning a skill instead of just doing yard work and making gravel for streets. The prisoners here would have used these tools to make mostly baskets, brooms, and shingles for the roofs of homes. The other space in our basement is our kitchen, which is at the other end of the hallway. The kitchen served as two purposes: a cell for the cook and also as a storage and preparation space for those meals. All of the meals would have been cooked in a fireplace and prepared by inmates. So out in our prison courtyard, we have our gallows. This is a model of one that was used in 1897 for an execution. All of the hangings that were done here were public executions. They were all done in this exact location and quite the spectacle. So you can see where all of them took place. Some people even think that some of those people that were executed might still be around. Thank you for taking our brief tour of the Prison Museum with us today. We invite you to come back when we are open and take a tour for yourself.